Yes, I live with horrible, horrible people. Um, to anybody in my world, right? It's territories. San Francisco was a great example. Chicago, these places where I go, are territories. So let's say stuff. I'm speaking to folks. If there's any decent people, I'm trying to make sense of this. This is the whole reason why I'm putting this video up right now. Okay, I'm doing it just because it's the right thing to do. But to people in my world, I don't need to explain this. But the territories is where you find a lot of this kind of activity. So it's not a surprise with the velocity of Al Qaeda gang members and Al Qaeda people. Like that shit's been structured here for almost 30 years. It's not a surprise with the Russian activity in certain territories, certainly the Midwest right now. Keep putting that up. The Antifa, no, they're the punk rock ones. They look like they're punks. They're not punks. They're just in black, and they're fucking Russian folks. Just like, in territories, Washington, Illinois, their areas. This is one of them. We know why. So I knew coming back to the East Coast would be dangerous. Remember, I kept saying, is it safe to come back? Yes. But this kind of stuff does not surprise me. What surprises me is, let me just be honest and upfront, the person I am, and I always have been. How I'm able to locate, how I'm able to ID people, descriptions, is through intelligent life forms that do exist, that are in our space galaxy. There are other life forms. We are not the only living thing in all entire universe, forever, never, ever, never. It's just us, okay? That is an untruth. That's all I've ever been trying to convey and express in an honest and upfront manner without getting total retribution for it. That is the only possible explanation an honest woman like me would give you, is the truth. Because there's no other way I'm doing that. Because what I'm doing isn't really that possible. In the past, people who are seen as saints perform miracles. That was extraterrestrials. So these things can be explained. And I've had a lot of retribution because it's scary to people to hear that angels are aliens. I understand that. They're still angels. Jesus is real. He was real. He's a life form. He's living and breathing. But he's not fantasy in another world on a cloud that's going to float down wearing sandals. Okay? Okay. We can get to a place someday where we can identify what part of the star exoplanet is called exoplanet, where these neighbors of ours live, and we can get to a place where we can distinguish what they are called, what languages they speak, and so on and so forth. That's what they want people on Earth to achieve. Okay? So what I'm doing is actually possible. And what the saints did was possible too. That's how they did it. Okay? It's not all magic and no one can explain it. You can explain it. And that's what the angels and Jesus want you to learn, is new science. A lot of what I've told you, what the angels pray, they do. They pray too. Spirituality, God, the Holy Spirit, is very real. But there's a lot of answers that can be understood as well. It's not everything magical, everything unexplained in a different world that nobody knows where it is. That's a fallacy. And in order for humans to advance and evolve, It's time to learn new things. That's all I've ever tried to do. Okay? So intelligent life forms do not like ethnic cleansing. Okay? They have intervened and stopped that. All right? The way I'm able to ID all these people, you can call me a saint, okay? I'd prefer if you didn't. I'd prefer if you were to maybe consider what I'm presenting to you. Maybe instead of calling me a saint or calling me crazy, maybe just think about it, the exoplanets. That maybe we have neighbors that are trying to help us. Maybe we could just look into it. Can't hurt. That's up to you. That's up to you. And apparently you're not ready yet. I don't believe so. But I'm still trying. That's why I'm filming right now. Because that explains how I do what I do. That explains why I'm doing what I do. Okay? I don't want power or statues or to be called a saint and told I float away and I'm up in the clouds too. No. I want people to get smarter and learn neat things like how to live longer, how to cure diseases, how to have some really cool stuff, new science. That's what I want. I want people to not want to kill because they're not white, or not want to kill because they're not radical Islam. It's pretty simple. So my guidance was through telepathic messaging, because that's how I do it. I don't hear things. I'm not schizophrenic. I know you're having a really hard time understanding this. I've been really patient. I'm willing to continue. But you need to make an extra step too. Stop calling names and just try to open your mind just a little bit. Okay? Try. All right? And when you're ready, I'll tell you the same thing I've always been telling you, okay? And we can try then. We'll start where we seem to be stuck at, but we'll start. All right. They were guiding me. The white lady's a bigger problem for you than this one. And I've always known that. This has been consistent. But to put it down, leave it alone, leave it alone. Granted that I keep on saying that I have this gift, ability, it was put in me. It's a lot of genomes and stuff I have put online. I have tried so hard to work with you folks. But no matter what, I get this retribution. So anyways, there's all sorts of stuff in my body that makes me able to do this. It's medically proven. And they were guiding me, not hearing things. She's a bigger problem. And then at a certain time tonight, I want you to put this up about her. And we started with the dates. Because I'm smart. I'm intelligent too. Intelligent lady. I'm like, let me start here and we'll just get to it. And this is the final outcome was what I put online. So, the white lady is a far worse problem. She's been, in theory, through guidance, allegedly involved with high-level far right in DC through all different power structures. She's really hooked up here. So I knew she was. Now, the fact that I say, hey, this is an intelligent life form that is guiding me. Hey, they have influence here. Hey, will you consider that? Will you consider that as a possibility? Just try. You can reject it, but can you at least look and hear before you just... Can you? Is why that crazy Al-Qaeda guy came, because they do that. They bring him here. Is why the next time he's renting off Craigslist. Can you imagine the fucking chances? The young girl moves in. She was not that bad until they got to her because she lived here. She was all right for a few weeks. I stand by that. They radicalized her. She's no longer a nice girl, and there's no going back. Not in my book. Is why part of the reason why I moved in was they have me. If you've noticed, my family guides me, or this time they just put me here. They guided me to his ad, Russ's ad, and they guided Russ to respond. And I wrote Russ an introductory letter about myself, and they guided Russ to invite me to meet. And once I met Russ, they ushered and guided Russ to move me in. That's the Holy Spirit. That's Jesus. These things are true. But a lot of the stuff that Jesus and the Holy Spirit do, we can learn too. Not everything, no. It says that in your Bible. I have tried so hard to get you to hear this, but you don't want to, and I know that. I just don't think you're ready. If you want my opinion, you shouldn't have electricity then. If you're not ready in 2020 to hear this stuff, Jesus, they shouldn't have any electricity. They should sit back in the campfire and write hieroglyphs on the walls then, because that's where they really feel more comfortable. That's my opinion. So it explains, if you want to even open your mind to this, the craziness that goes on sometimes. All right? You got to open your mind to this. Also, there's very verified circumstantial actions going on in DC. It's verified there's a lot of far right. It's verified there's a lot of Russian stuff. It's verified there's a lot of stuff with Al-Qaeda going on here. That's been verified. You want to hear again about the shooter on the Saudi base? Do you want to hear from me again about all the defector military? Or you just want to read about it in the paper and then say, she didn't mention that. We'll deny it. She says Jesus isn't on the cloud. Okay. Deny then. So that explains it if you want to open your mind to something ever someday. All right? I'm comfortable with that. My job for now is to work with my celestial family to help the good people, let's say, on earth with me to be able to locate and identify the bad ones in order to clean up the Stasi structure that has become our government, which is partly why authoritarianism has bred and taken fire here with the people. So, all right. It explains all that. The legal, documented CIA action stuff with these adversaries. Also, my pleading with you, my explanation and reasoning for 2 different fucking terrorist females above me is a lot of extraterrestrial influence to that. This is what I think, and I get a yes. For the big fishes in Russia and in Al-Qaeda camp, this house is a disaster. Because, believe it or if you don't want to believe it, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and put it onto the internet anyways, okay? It's not for you to be my jury. to them, they can't seem to cause any harm to me and be successful. So this house is like radioactive. And it's right by the White House, a mile down the street. And there's 2 women, allegedly, who know a lot about the wrong stuff. That close to the White House, especially. We have an Arab-linked jihadist gang member who got involved and knows a lot about the wrong things, singing and dancing and getting high and filling the house up with disgusting, thick stench of drugs every day. Yes. Who, when you approach her, you might as well be approaching someone on the corner, all right, named Flo, give her a street name, Minnie, and there's drugs all over by her feet, and she's looking at you saying, there is not, you can't talk to me that way, and there's all this smoke billowing from behind her. I don't smoke weed. That's what they do. That's what was happening this morning. We have a gangster thug from the corner, and if you knock on the door, you're going to meet them. Living in the room. It's gangster all the way. There's not. Don't talk to me like that. I didn't smoke weed. Oh, there's smoke behind her. You can smell it too. Okay. You don't smoke weed, but you just said you did. But you didn't know I was down there listening. All right. That's the typical behavior. We got that one that got all kinds of wrapped up with Al-Qaeda cell since she moved in here. And we know why, because of what I do for the good people on our planet, all over in different countries, to help stop a white nationalist overthrow. That's what I claim I'm doing. Let's go back to the basics. Let's all pretend I haven't proven this for 3 years. Why do we pretend? Because I'm accommodating your denial. But if it actually helps through harm reduction to get you to kind of realize, I'll continue to play the game. All right. Then we have the other white one, who allegedly has been involved with all kinds of folks, DHS, all these types of action people, right? So it's not surprising that she would be approached by some of the US KKK military at some point. None of this to the CIA and the legal folks would be that hard to explain. But like I always said, before I came online and did what I did for the last 3 years, my green lights, I always thought I was kind of good. I always thought, I'm going to have to figure out really nifty ways to explain this to the boss, because someday, Heidi, they're going to want to know, how are you laying it out? How are you laying all this out, Granger? And you just keep on making stuff up. Your boss is going to be smart or smarter than you. And they're going to know she's either involved with them, or we got to spy on Heidi or something, because how is she doing this, right? They're going to go and discuss me. Well, she's not involved with them. She lives alone. Let's spy on her. Let's listen to her phone. How is she doing this? Because one day or another was going to happen, because I got a criminal justice degree. Okay, this is all legalities. When you're laying them out like that in the law, these folks in the law want to know how. You have to answer for that. And I always knew that, okay? That was good. I'm not one of the mafiosos, but you got to explain how you know where they all are, bro. And I know that. How you know where the companies are, who the people are. I always knew that, but I figured I would just explain. My cat is Tink. Tink. My cat likes to interrupt, both of them. I love them. My cats like to be in the same room with me. Okay, good. He's done making noise. Okay. So there's a lot of ways before you go into your comfort zone, which is denial. There's a lot of ways to explain and why. There's a lot of whys and hows, and we've explained it. Of why there's 2 really dangerous women in the building. Now, they're not really dangerous. The white one we know filled the house up with smoke. All right? I nailed her before, how she's really nefarious. She's been known. The former tenant had to leave because she doesn't go to bed. She's on meth. My green light's doing heroin too. My green light is there's a lot of fucking hard drugs in this, up on the 3rd floor of this house. That's nothing that I fucking would ever want. But to these Al-Qaeda big fishes and some of the thinkers, there's not a lot of thinkers I don't believe in this Team Zero, but to some of them, this house is a fucking disaster. We got a white one hooked up with a Russian military fucking agent. Remember I put those women online? How did I do that? How are you doing that, Heidi? Well, if I tell you, will you reject it? Or will you be open to letting me tell you since you ask? Or we can play games. And I can make up all these things like I did for a year and a half. And you thought I was some sort of Foreign Legion agent. We can do all these things. What do you want? I would rather be honest. And I knew I had to be honest, but I knew when I would face such retribution for it. It basically comes down to the fact that I tell you Jesus is real, but I tell you he's not in the cloud. So really, it comes down to if you don't tell people in an authoritarian country everything that they want to hear, the way they want to hear it, you could lose your life. They'll just kill you because life doesn't matter to them. So that would make sense why intelligent life forms made me when I was born an American too. Yeah, they'll do it to anybody here. Yeah. All right, that's a whole nother chapter. So we know she's dangerous, all right? There's all kinds of ways to explain it. I've been IDing all these folks. I don't believe this lady's coming, the Russian lady. I nailed these housewives months ago. I see it like a movie, all right? Full color. If anybody ever wants to have dialogue with me, sit down, have some nice tea, talk about some Indian food, and then get into some other topics and have a dialogue and a flow where I feel I might be comfortable and trust you. I'll tell you anything you'd like to ask, but I've never had that. So it's always this. Anyways, I see it like a movie, and I saw the Russian ladies. They're American and Canadian. Let me just recap real fast, bulletin points. They look like they're married to doctors. They're straight as an arrow. And they talk, there's nothing, like you would forget them after you met them. They're so random and mundane, all right? But they carry the little guns here. They got their weapon. They walk in, and they can fight all that stuff that, women really shouldn't be doing. No, but they're really twisted here. Women should not be having sex with more than one guy at a time. That upsets you to hear that too right now. I know. And another thing, women shouldn't be having anal sex either. You don't need to. We already have what you call a vagina. I know that makes you mad right now. Probably projecting everything I say. Probably because I told you that having anal sex wasn't okay. All right. Yeah, and these type of women keep breeding and reproducing. What do you think the life forms that are intelligent think about that? They don't like it. All right, so that's a whole nother chapter. So it's not a surprise that towards the end there's a date. This date is very specific, the 31st on. She's hooked up for 2 weeks with one of these Russian, agent housewives type of shit. You want to talk to me personally without coming at me in an aggressive, horrible manner. We can discuss this. But until you give me that respect, this is the information you're going to get. And I suggest being a rational person, if you want to be one, that you can't really make a lot of judgments when someone's running out bulletin points on topics such as this. You would want, if you were intelligent and rational, to talk to me. You would want to talk to me. But that just shows what I'm dealing with. And I know what I'm dealing with here. All right, so it's butt sex. It's more than one guy and butt sex. That's what we're dealing with here. And let's have a baby. Yeah. With what guy? Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. And hey, if you don't like him, you can just have an abortion. Why not? Have one every month. Have one every month. That's what a lot of women are doing now in 2020. They're having them like every month. Why is this a form of birth control other than getting a shot in your arm? I would rather do the Depo-Provera and not get pregnant and have to have something sucked out of me than be a frequent regular fucking patron at the fucking abortion clinic. You're very sick here. I know you don't like to hear it. All I want to do is help you learn new things so you can evolve. But I don't think we're ready for that. All right. Anyway, so they don't have electricity. Look, it's going to come down to that. Let's go right on the walls again and sit by the campfire. I think you were happier there. I think you caused less harm. But listen, I just wanted to really give people, I guess, the respect, because I'm just programmed that way, to let you know that that's how I'm IDing. That's how I knew the date. That's how I know these bases. That's how I know it's the white lady again. This is no surprise. You want to get all analytical and legal. A lot of this can be very explained, but no, the bases, the ID, the ages, you can either take how I'm explaining it or just reject me with retribution again. And you are the one that's left feeling confused because I told you the truth. You chose to reject it. All right? Why did you reject it? Because you want to be in denial. And denial, in order to break it, I'm glad I am starting to, because I am making all of your denial a little bit more uncomfortable. And in order to evolve and break denial, it can't be a comfortable place to be. Your denial is endangering your species. All right. That was a lot I said in this 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I know that. I don't know what else to say, okay? I do not believe I'm going to have any problems here. But I have to stay on constant, whatever the word, because I live with two women who want to harm others. I do believe. I don't believe they would do it themselves, except the one lady, the white lady, did take actions to fill the house up with gas. So I've seen it. I've witnessed it. The fact that they're still living here, I actually embrace it because it's causing such agony to the thinkers in Team Zero. They can't believe this house. They got an Al-Qaeda one dancing, singing, smoking drugs, fucking nuts. They got another one that can't stop. What's going to happen is it's going to be insane in DC. One of these two chicks is going to go after the wrong cop, and anything, the dominoes could fall from there. Like I said, not all of the FBI is defector or the military, but if they want to keep to an allegation, white and jihadist terrorists in the same house, really high on illegal drugs every day, and see how that works out for them, be my guest. All right? Bye.